Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into generative AI. You know, the powerful tech behind all those tools that seem to be everywhere now, creating everything from art to code. We're going to break down what you really need to know, how it works, and what it means for you.
So, have you ever stopped and wondered, how on earth can an AI write a poem, or create a picture from scratch, or even code a whole app? It can feel like actual magic. But behind the curtain, it all comes down to how these systems learn. So let's start with the big picture.
To really get what generative AI is all about, we got to zoom out for a second and look at where it comes from. The whole broader field of artificial intelligence. So what is AI, really? At its heart, it's all about building computer systems that can do things that usually need a human brain. You know, stuff like recognizing what's in a photo, understanding what we're saying, or figuring out complex problems.
Now here's a really important point to get. The AI we have today is designed to simulate human intelligence. What does that mean? It means it's mimicking the outcomes of our thinking. It's not trying to literally copy-paste the squishy, biological stuff happening inside our actual brains. And this brings us right to our focus. You see, a ton of AI is just about analyzing data that's already out there. But generative AI, it's different. It creates. Think of it as the artist, the writer, the composer. It makes brand new, original stuff based on all the patterns it's learned.
So, the big question is, how does this learning actually happen? What's going on inside the black box? All right, let's pop the hood and take a look at the engine that drives this whole thing.
At the very heart of pretty much all modern AI, you'll find something called a neural network. And just like it sounds, it's a system that's actually inspired by the human brain. It's made up of billions of these tiny, interconnected digital neurons that all work together to process information and spot really complex patterns.
So how does this digital brain learn? Well, it uses something called parameters. And honestly, the best way to think about them is like billions, and I mean billions, of tiny little tuning knobs. As the AI is training, it's just constantly adjusting all of these knobs over and over and over until it gets incredibly good at finding those patterns in the data. And just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about here, the famous GPT-3 model has 175 billion of these parameters. That's 175 billion tiny knobs it can tweak to get things right. The number is just mind-boggling.
Yeah, and this quote from AI pioneer Yann LeCun really puts it all into perspective. It would take you and me 20,000 years to read the amount of data these models are trained on. It's a scale that is totally beyond human capacity, and that's exactly what lets these models learn so much.
Okay, so all of this super complex training, it results in all different kinds of AI models. Let's take a quick look at the main types you're likely to run into and the platforms where they all live.
Right, so not all AI models are created equal. You've got these huge do-it-all foundation models. Then you have smaller, fine-tuned models that are basically specialists at one specific task. And then you've got open-source models, which is awesome because they're out there for anyone to grab, use, and even modify.
So where do people even find all these models? Well, for a lot of developers, the go-to place is Hugging Face. And this quote just nails it. It really is like the GitHub of the AI world. It's this central hub where the whole community can share their models, their data, and work together on cool new stuff.
All right, we've talked a lot about the tech, but let's get real for a minute. Why does any of this actually matter to you? How is this stuff actually showing up in our daily lives? Let's connect those dots.
The funny thing is, you are probably already using generative AI every single day, maybe without even realizing it. It's the engine behind powerful personal assistants. It's writing code for developers, and it's creating everything from marketing copy to movie scripts.
And you know, tools like ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini have become household names, right? They're really the main way most of us are getting our hands on this technology. They're like a direct gateway, giving millions of people access to some of the most advanced AI models ever built.
And all of this leads us to a really big, really important question. As AI masters more and more tasks that we once thought were uniquely human, it forces us to think differently about our own abilities. What new skills will we need to develop? It's a question we're all going to be answering together.